Hey, hey, welcome back, Scorpios. Welcome, guys. Just so you know, I am actually technically on like vacation this week. I have family in town, so forgive me that it's a real, bumpy week. It's because I've been spending time with my mama, but I didn't forget about you guys. Next week after Tuesday, we'll be back on a regular schedule. But Scorpio, I wanted to take a look at what is it that has been like, maybe very stable, very secure, but also maybe not transitioning very much. What's been in that statuesque energy that is now starting to like kind of like come back into Scorpio's life. Since we do have the clear blue skies behind me as well as a statue. We have a King of Cups. Love could be coming back in, a feeling of like emotional openness has been stagnated for a long time. This could be a lover that wants to connect. Wow, High Priest. This is the Hierophant in any other deck. It's card 5. It's that Taurus energy. Um, for me, this everything here says I don't know if this is somebody who withheld their emotions, who wasn't ready to be married. Let me tell you, they are so ready at this point in this storyline. Maybe this is Scorpio who was like, I'm never getting married. I don't want a long-term commitment. I'm not, surrendering any of my autonomy to anybody. Oh, but wait, I didn't know I'd meet somebody like this. Now I'm changing my mind. I kind of feel like it's because this person met Scorpio that they're changing their mind. Right now, I know we have a feminine on a king card, but then we do also have a masculine on this Hierophant card. It feels like either Scorpio has been a feminine in their masculine energy, or this is a masculine in their feminine energy and it is somebody external to Scorpio. Let's see if we can figure this out. They are ready to be married. Their whole heart is opening up. We got the Ace of Coins, and that is sideways. I'm ready to give an offer. I'm ready to give my love. I'm ready to, share my emotions. I'm ready to have a new beginning. I think Scorpio's on the same page. Two people seem to be on the same page. This person could be an earth sign, but they really want to match with Scorpio. So if this is an earth sign, so possibly a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, they seem to be so ready to work on a relationship, specifically like the nuts and bolts of a really important relationship. They may want a do-over with that Ace of Coins being sideways. You know, can we date again? But this time it's with the intention of like, I want this to be serious. Like, we're not just playing around. Like, this is us planning a future. This is us intending to stay together. We have the Moon card. Um, this to me makes me think that Scorpio does not see this coming. Yes, it looks like they'll be on board with it, but it does not look like Scorpio would have seen this coming. Especially if something has been in statue. If we're looking at the statue that's behind me, um, that's when everything is just stagnated, right? It's just something has become very, very still. And so I don't think Scorpio would have guessed that this, would change like this, that this would come in this way. Seven of Wands is upright. Yeah, if anything, I think Scorpio maybe has had other things to attend to in their life, other blockages, other obstacles. Um, Scorpio may have even thought that this person had turned their back on this whole relationship, not realizing that this person was doing something that they needed to. Knight of Wands, Scorpio has been seeing themselves as single, sexy, fun loving, proud, brave, totally fine being single. I picture that this Scorpio has taken a trip by themselves or has like gone as a single person, like to an event with friends, mingled, chit chatted with people. They might have gone to a concert, a festival. They may have gone somewhere to just go and have a good time, and they're like, oh, I'm yeah, Three of Cups, death and rebirth. And none of this says Scorpio's been sitting around at home crying over this individual. Nothing here says, oh, I've been twiddling thumbs, I've been sad, I've been, wounded, I've been crying over anybody. And we don't see Scorpio crying over anybody. We see Scorpio having literally like gotten over this person. They've been spending time with friends. They've got plans for October. They're going to go to a winery with their, whatever, their girl squad, their sisters. There's just so much. Like Scorpio's whole life has changed. They don't see this person, this earth sign, or this king of cups. They do not see this coming in. This would not be wouldn't have even been on their radar, because Scorpio worked really, really hard to see themselves as a single person. I feel like Scorpio has a thing where they have some standard photos. Like if they hike to a certain point, they always get the same photo of them standing, in a power pose or something. If they go somewhere, different places around this world, they like a friend or somebody takes like a standard picture of them, and it could be like their thing, to be like, I did it. I said I was going to do this, and I ticked this off my bucket list. I could see this being a Scorpio who has, just like a funny, like a whole collection of kind of the same pose that they make in like a photo or something, that is their personal, like, the photo, the posture means something specific. Like, I'm on fire. I did it. I, check that one off my bucket list. It just feels very, even this little skeleton is kind of like, ta-da. I know everything here says Scorpio's been knocking things out of the park, like living their best life, feeling happy again, feeling like they're having a good life. And if anything, they may have just thought, oh, me and that person, they had their own problems, struggles. If that king might have been more concerned with, maybe he was in school at the time, maybe that's why dating didn't work out. He had his own struggles. He was focused on career. He was, really running like on all cylinders, just trying to keep up with all the things going on in his life. So I don't foresee him, trying to pop into my life to date me. I wasn't the priority, but that's okay. Like, my life is my priority. And I'm single, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, this looks like a Scorpio who's loving being single, absolutely loving it. Has the last person that they would ever expect to come in and try to like lock them down and try to get them to be in a serious relationship. That is the last thing Scorpio would expect this person to come in and do. This is just not, it's not even at all on their radar. I don't know. Hang on, let me change decks before we go down that road. Let's use this other one. Is Scorpio going to have an interest in this? Justice sideways. Scorpio might be like, I would have been more interested in this before, but like, kind of unfair that now you're ready, and maybe I'm kind of over it because I'm so loving my single life. I mean, it's kind of a pity that you weren't ready before. The World. Look, this person might have missed their opportunity with Scorpio. I don't know that Scorpio wants to do this all over again with them or not. Eight of Pentacles. Scorpio's like, well, when you weren't ready for a relationship and stuff, because you were busy working on your career and those things, I have to say, I've changed. Now my life is really full. I have a bunch of stuff that's on my plate. I have a bunch of stuff to do that I'm working on. So I don't know that I'm going to be ready for a relationship right now. I've got plans to go with my friends. I'm loving being single. I mean, it kind of feels like this karmic, like we've swapped roles, and the World card is about, new beginnings. And sometimes it's like, my life has changed and yours has as well, but we changed in completely opposite ways. You now like want to marry me, and I don't know that I want to be married at all. I've got other things to do. Ten of Swords in the reverse. There is some pain surrounding all of this. Like, I don't think that Scorpio is saying, well, too bad. Even if I want you now, I'm not going to let myself do this because you weren't ready before. I don't see Scorpio doing that. But there could be a little bit of like a twinge of that. Like, why? Why now? We have a Six of Swords. We have a King of Swords. I do think that if Scorpio is going to turn this person down and say, you know what, I got over you, I kind of feel like they are going to have some kind of a response. This can be very, very truthful. What is it that they're going to want to say to Scorpio? Seven of Wands. Scorpio looked at them before as a Seven of Wands. They had their own problems. They had all these things that they had to take care of. Six of Cups. I'm not saying that they're arguing, but I am saying that they're going to tell, because I think Scorpio is about to turn them down. I think when this person comes in and they are going to want to offer the world to Scorpio, they want a new beginning. They want to like offer everything that they didn't or couldn't before. And they're like, they have marriage and everything on the mind. And I do feel like Scorpio was wounded by things and felt like they didn't get treated very well by this person. And it's saying, you know, I haven't forgotten that, but also my life has changed. I'm not in the same place anymore. Once upon a time, you weren't ready to be with me. And at this point, I've changed. But they're trying to argue with that King of Swords. Like, I understand, but the truth of it is there, you know, 7 is a divine number and it's a number of change. 7 of Wands was blockages. They may tell Scorpio point blank the different sharks that they were swimming in the water with at that point. They may be explaining like the kinds of things that they were fixing in their world, working on in their world, in order to be able to make this, you know, turnaround to show up in Scorpio's life at this point with that Six of Cups. They may be just telling Scorpio the truth of some things. High Priestess, some things that maybe they even just want Scorpio to know. You do know, because I know that you cared about me and I cared about you too. You also, I think, knew that you hadn't heard the last of me, even if I couldn't pursue things with you at that time. You know that. Magician in the reverse. They're just trying to say point blank, I couldn't manifest anything with you then, Scorpio. I couldn't. I had too many problems. I had too many things in the way. I had all these sharks in the way. But I think that you knew I would come back. I kind of think that they're trying to not make Scorpio feel bad, but they're trying to lay it out very plain. Like, but you do know that I always cared, right? And you know that if I could have not had things in my way, I would have been with you then, but there were things in the way. And that's why I couldn't move forward with you at that point. See, I almost wonder if this is like, maybe they didn't even date Scorpio. Maybe this is somebody who, like, let's say they worked with Scorpio. Let's say they knew Scorpio, but they didn't ask Scorpio out. They didn't pursue things with Scorpio, but there was, you know, an obvious interest between the two of them. And instead they needed to go work on themselves. They weren't in a place where they could do a relationship at all with anybody. And it almost feels like that really stung for Scorpio. Maybe that's the other reason Scorpio's like, yeah, but that's fine. I mean, and I've moved on. And guess what? Now I'm the person that doesn't need the relationship. The only reason I think that they're arguing this, though, or just trying to speak a truth, is please don't get angry at me. Remember, these are fictional stories about fictional characters. I'm not talking to you, no matter who you are. But this person is trying to argue with Scorpio or point out, okay, if you don't want to be with me, I understand. But just so we're clear, it was never that I didn't want to be with you. It was that I had these sharks in the way. It was that I could not manifest any more than that. So I always intended to come back to you when I could. And you know that I cared about you. You know that I'm telling you the truth. If you're choosing not to be with me now, simply because you don't want to be with me, then I understand. But if you're choosing not to be with me now because you're thinking that I wasn't ready to be with you before, and so now this is the same thing, it's not, because you're making the choice not to be with me. Whereas if I had all the freedom to choose before, I would have just been with you, Scorpio. So that's what we've got here. And they are trying to point this out is what it says. And it simply is because they want, basically, obviously they want Scorpio. This is them trying to be persuasive. But it's also them kind of like saying it in a really nice way. Scorpio, just so you know, if you're choosing not to be with me because you don't want to, that's fine. If you're choosing not to be with me, even though you would want to be with me, and you think that's the same thing, it isn't. I wanted to choose to be with you, but could not. It was not a choice for me. If the choices were mine, I would have been with you. But there were sharks. There was something here. Whatever they were dealing with. I mean, this person could have been in some hot water. They could have been in a real mess. This could have been an addiction. This could have been, any of their struggles that they personally had to get themselves unentangled from. It wasn't about them not picking Scorpio. It was literally, the obstacle was they could not pick Scorpio. They couldn't, it's not even that. They picked Scorpio, but they couldn't be with Scorpio. And they just want that to be on the record so that Scorpio knows it wasn't about me not choosing you because I was busy or having fun elsewhere, or even that I wasn't mature enough to have wanted you. I did pick you, but I couldn't be with you because of whatever those sharks represented. I can understand them trying to explain that to Scorpio in no uncertain terms. And I think it is to be kind and loving because they want Scorpio to know, but I loved you and I love you still. I didn't ever not pick you. It's that I couldn't do more than what I did at the time. And I just think that I don't know, I kind of like that. I kind of like the fact that they just want Scorpio to know that. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Whatever Scorpio chooses to do, it's up to them. But we definitely see kind of like a real love there. All right, I'm going to leave this. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.